Uh, as you heard the voice of the INEC chairman, that is Mahmoud Yakubu, declaring the winner of the February the 25th presidential election, and that is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who polled 8,794,726 votes to beat Atiku, who scored 6,084,520 votes, and Obi 6,101,533 votes, and Kwankwaso, who scored below 1.5 million votes. That's the figure as released by INEC. But then, post that announcement, there's been a lot of, especially from the opposition, the Labour Party, the PDP, saying that they believe they won the election and that they will be going to court. Earlier today, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in that election, Atiku Abubakar, led a protest to the headquarters of INEC in Abuja, all of them wearing black, and Atiku did say that the protest will continue every day. I don't know what they intend to, but maybe they're trying to call the attention of the international community or whatever they intend to do with that. We'll be looking at that, and then we'll be looking at agenda setting for the Bola Ahmed Tinubu incoming presidency. And let me start from Comrade Gani Mohammed. The presidential election has been won and lost. What do you think went wrong for the Labour Party and the PDP? In the case of the Labour Party, in spite of many polls, there were a lot of polls before the election predicting that it was going to win, and there were a lot of prophecies as well that we had from pastors. From what do you think went wrong for the PDP and the Labour Party in that election?
Yeah, thank you, Dimeji. The truth of it is that, like we had predicted. Some of us had predicted before the election that people in Nigeria appear, or the people who are projecting Obi for victory, appear not to understand the political configuration of this country and the demographic figure presented to us by INEC as the number of registered voters in Nigeria. There is this fundamental mistake. I made this correction, I think, on this program or elsewhere, that the youth, Nigerian youth, is beyond the young persons on social media. We tend to believe that the youth of Nigeria are resistant to the southeast and southwest, as if there are no youth in the 19 northern states who are not on social media. Obi is essentially a social media campaigner, and that they will do their polling on social media, and we must give it to him. He had a majority of supporters online, and this, anytime you make a poll online, you will always have his people voting. Where do you put? I told somebody that, do you say the Almanjires in Kano, in Maiduguri, in Sokoto, Katsina, Kaduna, and elsewhere in the northern part of the country are no longer Nigerian youth? Are they not on the INEC registered voters? These are some of the gaps some people choose to submit the analysis to. The Kevin Obi is popular, is popular among the sympathizer of NSAS, and they were projecting on the strength of that the entire people that went out to protest then were actually voting for Obi. But when it comes to elections in Nigeria, you see some of the people that sympathize with NSAS because of what the face value of the protest presented belong to other political parties. Some are even contesting on platform of PDP. You remember that a candidate of PDP who was a front runner in the NSAS protest, W Bank, I remember
Bank W,
Bank W, was defeated in this election. He contested on the platform of PDP. He was defeated. It tells you that the youth, the NSAS sympathizers and all of that are not exclusive property of Labour Party. The Labour Party to work on religious sentiment, and that created a very terrible precedent. In this country, we know that the other side of the faith are largely in the north, and they are more scientific when it comes to voting in Nigeria. So when you now make it look like it is a Christian against Muslim, you'll be creating a division that you will not be able to meet. It created the impression that the election was between Islam and Christianity. No wonder he was scoring. He only managed to score its 25% in less than 20 states. And when you look at those states, there are states that have some sizable number of Christians, and the majority that has a Muslim population, and where some other factors, operating factors, work against him, he had less than 25%. Essentially, he schemed himself out of the race. There is nothing wrong for an Igbo man to become president in Nigeria. It's a legitimate title. It's a legitimate right. But when you now color it with religion, with other sentiments, look at what is happening in Lagos now. He has put the voters in Lagos, I mean the people who are contesting on platform of Labour, he has pinned them against the people of the Southwest, because he drove on the plane of ethnicity. And the candidate of Labour Party in Lagos is a Yoruba man from Lagos, but because he aligned with him, and this one is aligning on this platform, people are now trying to link him with Eastern Bloc. You will be seeing some IPOB, you'll see some Biafra pictures surfacing online where the candidate of Labour Party has participated in the past. So they tend to see it as an ethnic agenda. That is how much the ambition of Obi has damaged the politics of Nigeria. We struggle against ethnicity and religion on political space in the past, and we thought we were getting over it. Boom, the guy just came, and he was moving from one church to the other, telling the people that a church must take back Nigeria. It is not good. In fact, I feel sad. It hurts my feeling. And it's not good for a person like that to have won. It is even, we must thank God that he didn't win. Atiku would have been a better person, but thank God he is not enjoying the quality of vote. You know, like one of his men was arguing on a particular television station, saying that the vote of Obi will only affect APC. I said, where is this man coming from? Is he not part of us in Nigeria? Obi was a department of PDP, and he moves his vote away. That is why, despite the muzzle or the muzzling and the sabotage, the campaigns of Asiwaju Tinubu suffered, is still a match, because the opposition that's supposed to galvanize their strength come together, dislodging. You remember in 2015, it took the CPC, AMPP, NPDP. You remember NPDP?
New PDP.
Yeah, and the 60 APC to dislodge a sitting president in person of the gentleman president Goodluck Jonathan. But you are coming, you want to dislodge a ruling party. You now came with divided house. Somebody went to NNPP, somebody went to Labour Party, somebody went to PDP. Why three of them were together? APC defeated them. They now scattered their homes. So that gave the Asiwaju, despite the monetary and fuel scarcity created in the weeks preceding the election, which some people, like one of our leaders in the party, Governor El-Rufai, said it was a deliberate sabotage to favor the opposition party, PDP in particular, that there was nowhere on net that you'll be facing election in few weeks and you will withdraw cash and make things difficult. People were dying. When you go to the banks, you see the madness going on in the bank. They were burning banks. Here and there, you withdrew fuel. And you remember in 2019, when we were contesting for the second time and things was getting a little bit rough and difficult,
there was paid that money and
we quickly push money out instead of taking money out from the circulation. We started this trader money, all of this money. We push it into circulation. That the vice president was even the one sharing the money. His plane got almost crashed in Kaba.
Some people were calling Babaloja.
Babaloja. You can imagine, just to pump more money into circulation. You will recall too, in the year preceding the Christmas, preceding 2019 election, we had no fuel issue. The subsidy was increased to 2 billion, and we had so much fuel in the circulation. But when our election was coming, it was then that they introduced they removed subsidy. The pump price jumped up. Nigerians were still struggling to buy it, and those people felt this was one biting hard. They now withdrew the fuel from circulation, not even the price. They couldn't get fuel.
All right, Comrade Gandhi Mohammed.
They added the issue of cash.
Let me turn to Tribunal APC. Now, what do you think, apart from some of the things that Air has mentioned, what worked for Asiwaju in this election? What factors secured him victory in this election?
I will have to congratulate Asiwaju, Jagaban, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the APC members that worked for his success. Asiwaju is not just a fluke. It's not a political fluke. The man has built bridges across. He is known all over the country. He has been preparing for this thing. And that was what made him make the statement that Emilokan at that material time, saying, I have paid my dues. He has prepared well to become the president of Nigeria. And we thank God, regardless of all the idiosyncrasies that happens towards the election, Asiwaju he cut across. When you look at the map of Nigeria and you look at how he won 4 states in the middle, in the central, 4 in the southwest, okay, and northwest 2, east 2. Who else among, and in the south he won, which we never expected. Rivers State. So, and when you look at the margin in Lagos State, it's
Narrow.
Very narrow. We know the misgivings we are getting that it is the Igbo vote that gave Obi the victory in Lagos. That's not true. It's the Christian community that did this thing.
Sure.
And our young people, like my colleague was saying about the NSAS thing, a lot of these young people have misgivings about the Nigerian state. They are very angry. They are looking for solution. And they play into the hands of a man that doesn't even have a plan for Nigeria. When you look at what Obi said he has to offer us, can anybody remember anything that he said he will offer us in Nigeria? No. So we need to go back to the basics. We have won now, and Asiwaju has a lot of work to do. And some of it is to pay attention to the young generation.
We'll get to that. Chief Alex Ajikwe. Now, some of the complaints I've had from the Labour Party and the PDP is that the process, the INEC violated some of his guidelines, especially regarding the upload of results in real time on the IRF, said, which was not done. They believe that because of this election was rigged. Now, talking about the upload of results on IRF, do you think that if you look at because that's what I've had different arguments from lawyers as well. Some people have said that is the word transmit in the Electoral Act means that it has to be done electronically. But when you look up transmit in the dictionary, it does not say electronic. And the Electoral Act says transmit, not electronically. I've also listened to the Senate President who said they never mentioned that results should be transmitted in real time. Could this be enough reason for the cancellation that the PDP and the Labour Party are calling for?
Well, thank you very much, Dimeji. I want to say this, that right from time, the Labour Party and the PDP, they've accorded themselves at the same time set a rule that only them have designed and only them want to abide with. So whoever that is not working according to what the rule that they have set for themselves, they believe that such a person is not should not be had or is not doing the right thing. I want to tell you, just like what the Honorable just said here, that moving from one church to the other, we all saw what happened even during the electionary campaign. Section 97 of the Electoral Act, condemn using religious for. In fact, it's even said that if any political party
campaigning in churches and
another, we saw it. But because it was Labour Party that was doing it, then it is okay. Then let us go right to the election. We have guidelines, and we also have what the Electoral Act actually said in a real sense. The ANEC actually in the one.
Now these guidelines can they be called law?
No.
But that's one of the arguments.
The guidelines is at the discretion
of INEC.
Yeah. And at every point in time, when you want to transmit, let me say something to you, Dimeji. I want to transfer money to you. If I transfer money to you, I've seen the debit. You understand?
And I've not seen the alert.
You have not seen the alert, but the money is in your account. So do you now say, I have not sent money until you see the alert? You can go to your app to go and check if the money has reflected in your bank. It's not only through alert. You understand? An election was conducted at the polling unit. All the polling agents were there. They signed. After that, to the World Collation Center, all the polling agents were there at the World Collation Center. They signed. After World Collation Center, it goes to the local government. All the agents were there and they signed. After the local government collation center, it goes to the states. All the collation, the returning officer, they were there and they signed. So now you are now at the collation center, the returning center at Abuja, trying to relay what the process has confirmed from polling unit up to state. Right. So let me say this to you: what they were doing in Abuja, fine, it's part of the constitution, but it's more or less ceremonial. There's nothing they are doing there. It's ceremonial. There's nothing that can be concocted there. There's nothing you can do there. You cannot add. You cannot substitute. And if you see the ANEC chairman, it was like asking question. Okay, say it yourself, so that when they say it cannot be that unless if it's different from what they've been getting. So now when you say you are uploading in a society like Nigeria, everybody knows what happened. You understand? So sometimes it can get delayed. Are you now telling me?
Did that shoot himself in the foot in the first system by promising that?
No. So let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. It is not out of point. Since INEC knows what they want to do and they actually did, and even the result going to RF, it's not as if it was completely not there. But some of the results were not there as at the time the collation was happening in Abuja. But manually, all this process has been concluded. So are you now telling me that if it takes 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days before the result that was sent got into ANEC because of internet coverage, so we should wait? Nigerians should wait endlessly and be waiting for internet. And that's number one. Then number two is that, see, IRF is also subjected one way or the other, exposed to hacking.
Yeah.
So somebody that is saying he has to see the IRF, you have to ask him, what is it that you want to see in the IRF? You have your agent all over the state, you have your agent all over the local government, you have your agent all over the world. Now the INEC chairman now asks them, do you have any results that is different, that is being called here, that is different from what your agent told you from the state? None. So what is IRF that we're talking about? As of today now, go to that RF, almost 98% of the result is uploaded there. We have not seen anybody that has gone there now that said it's different from what I've been given to them.
Some people in the Labour Party saying that there are different results about that has been on the social media.
Well, let me say this to you, Dimeji. Whatever, the election has come and gone. As far as we are concerned, the serious-minded Nigeria is concerned, serious-minded politicians in Nigeria is concerned. We have a president-elect now. It's not a presidential aspirant, neither is he a presidential candidate. This is the president-elect of Nigeria. So if you have any issue with that, in fact, Mahmoud cannot do anything on this matter again, because it's even beyond 7 days where there could be review. There could be review of result here. INEC has that power, but after 7 days, you don't have that power any longer. So you have to go to court, and that's what we have. Instead of eating the polity, let me say something to you. President Buhari was in court how many times before he eventually cleared the position? So go to court. Then, if you are able to prove your stuff, the way Labour Party are saying that, the way APC has also saying that, even where you have scored APC 0, we have agent there.
Yeah.
We have people who are contesting for rep there.
Yeah.
We have chairman in that unit. In all the units in Nigeria,
yeah.
APC have ESCOs, not less than 15. Every unit. So you are telling me all the units, including the agent, including the rep member, including the senate that come from that unit, score 0. And where you have over 500 votes allocated to the Labour Party. So all these things, the APC is also saying.
What do you think was responsible for that?
Because
voter suppression.
Voter suppression. You don't need to be told, because this is a scenario that is impossible for you to have 0 for a presidential candidate in a unit where you have a party agent, 2 party agents in all the units in Nigeria. APC has 2 party agents. Apart from that, we have supervisors that will supervise this agent, Dimeji. So what we are saying is that, see, they have set a standard for themselves, and that is why this election, I've never seen this type of election so polarized, so on the back of religions, on the back of tribe, and if we are not careful, just like what they are doing. But of course, I thank God, a lot of people are now, calling themselves back, because I saw one of the pastors that before said there was not going to be election is now saying again yesterday and saying that election is won, that they should forget it, that they should not even go to court. So sometimes when you believe these people too much,
God has
so at the end of the day it becomes something else. So Dimeji, I want to tell you that this is just a spirit of a bad loser, nothing else, and they should not put Nigeria on fire. As a matter of fact, the people who believe in this administration are more, so nobody should waste his time.
Let me quickly correct one impression. They are getting wrong meaning of IRF. They don't understand it. First and foremost, there is nowhere it is written in the Electoral Act that result must be transmitted to IRF. Nowhere. Secondly, this issue of IRF, it is this beavers.
Is the word IRF even mentioned in the Electoral Act?
Nowhere is mentioned. I want to correct that impression. Nowhere is mentioned. It is the guideline of INEC, and there is no time limit. And what IRF said is this: Beaver does not collate results. It is the people at the official of INEC at the polling unit that will collect the result. Beaver will only screenshot what is already on EC8, I think so. We only screenshot and send. IREV does not collate, does not enjoy facility to add, to subtract. All it does is just to take the screenshot of beavers. Beavers too does not add. It is a screenshot. It's just like placing your certificate on the table, use your phone to scan it, send it to another man elsewhere. That's all it does. And the essence is to get results as it is at the polling unit in their server, in their portal added. And what they wanted to do, what this element wanted to do, there was a signal during the campaign of Obi in Canada. A guy came out and said, he's on the video, that all we will do for you is to win the election for you through technology.
Yeah.
That tell us.
It's on tape.
Just it. It's on tape.
Over 162 attempts to
were made
on that day.
To hack. And remember too, in 2019, the same PDP having Obi as the running mate was complaining that they have a back server. I never had no back server, and they were claiming that they have back server, that there was a result in back server that was different from what INEC had, and that back server was in Dubai, and they wanted to use it to cause confusion. But one thing I want people to understand is that Atiku and Obi were at the INEC in 2019 to dispute the result of 2019 election. They wore black coats and did some protest there. So if they are doing it today, it has become a festival for them, a festival of losers. Once they lose, they move to INEC, they do some protest.
Atiku was there today, with his supporters and members of the PDP.
Yeah, and let me tell you,
what do you think? What do you think they hope to achieve with this?
I want to tell you this. Just it is a festival. Remember, INEC can no longer cancel this election. INEC does not enjoy that power any longer. Once it's announced, INEC can no longer cancel, even if it is, though INEC does not conduct a councillorship election, but if it's at the councillorship level and they conducted and they announce it, the rest goes to tribunal. Let them go to the Court of Appeal, which is the first court of first instance for
So we're talking about court of first instance. Why do you think some states last week file a case?
Five of them. They have withdrawn it. It's a stupid decision. Let me tell you why.
And they were led by senior advocate of Nigeria.
It was a stupid decision. A 100-level student of law will understand this.
And all the states they have attorney generals.
You cannot. It's no longer a pre-election matter. Any matter that takes place after the election goes to tribunal. And if you are not a political party or you does not participate in election, you have no jurisdiction. You cannot question it. So they withdraw. They busybody interlopers. They withdrawn. So when I saw it, I said these people must be, something must be wrong, because you are not a political party. You are not a party candidate. And why are you challenging the result of an election that you are a stranger to?
Okay, so let me turn to Chunota APC. Even though that the PDP and the Labour Party are aware that INEC can no longer do anything on this election, in spite of that, they still went to INEC headquarters in Abuja. And article you say that the protest will continue every day. What do you think they intend to achieve with this?
Well, the protest is they're trying to gain attention of the international community. You know, from the beginning, even before the election, we know what Peter Obi and his Labour Party were doing. I remember you were talking about the poll that was conducted. They hired people to do that. In the so-called advanced countries like United States and UK, where they conduct polls are usually done covering a wider
different demographics.
Yeah, demographics. Yeah. But look at the polls they were conducting, that they were saying Obi is going to win, Obi is going to win. Usually you have like 800 people in a country of 200 million, where 93 million are registered voters. So we give them the day. They are exercising their democratic this thing by allowing them to wear black. They are mourning, the loss of the election. So it's not like my brother said there's a ritual for that.
Well, one of the issues that I listened to his press conference was that last week Thursday or thereabout, where he even cried, and he said that if you look at previous presidential elections, 2011, 2015, 2019, the number of votes were more, and then now with 93 million registered voters, with 87.2 million people who collected PVCs, that the number of votes went lower than it used to be, even when the number of registered voters were not as high as these, and that what could have gone wrong for that? Did he really have a point? Is that really something that should be people should worry about?
It is. We need to work on that. There's voter apathy. Okay.
What do you think was responsible for that?
Look at,
because one of the claims is that there was voter suppression.
Well, there's
by the
voter
opposition.
suppression in the southeast.
What about in the southwest?
In the southwest, I don't see any voter suppression here.
People have talked about videos as well.
Maybe some beavers were not working properly in some polling
people
units.
have talked about videos in Lagos, for instance, where people were also being threatened not to
What about
people were beaten up
in the southeastern
Enugu
states?
state.
Okay, like my brother was saying the other time, APC has the best or the largest structure, political structure in the country. In every polling unit, 176,000 polling units, we have agents there.
Yeah.
We are supposed to have like about maybe 350 something agents for us. Tell me, when I saw the result in Anambra and we only have like 5,000 votes in a state where we have how many polling units? You know, it's there's a lot of, because if you look at what was happening a week or two before the election, there was a lot of threat that people must not come out to vote in the IPOP territory, Biafra territory, and all that. Now tell me, how come it is only in that part of the country that we are seeing a candidate having 90% of the vote? And they are the first to talk now that there was...
Maybe it's popular. Maybe it's very popular.
I don't care how popular you are. There are senators in those states belonging to those parties. There are House of Rep members in those states. Even there are some governors in those states. So for anybody to be telling me it's about popularity, they have a hidden agenda. And they are going to expose themselves. Let them go to court. We are compiling our own evidences too.
Dimeji, if I may.
Okay, please, Chief Alex. A contrary opinion?
Yes, a slight different opinion from what the Honorable just said. Is that, of course, why did we have the beavers? It's to solve a problem.
Yes.
Of
ghost voters?
Ghost voters,
Yeah.
multiple voters. The truth of the matter is that I don't believe that 93 million real voters registered in Nigeria. That is the truth. We have a lot of people that registered in Enugu. Again, went to Lagos and registered. As a matter of fact,
I've had a similar case.
I have,
Who registered in Lagos and then came to Ondo State to register again.
As a matter of fact, we have people that register in different wards. In Akure. Not even a far place. You understand now? So, these are the reason why the beavers are actually introduced. So, I don't want to believe that this is one of those elections that people has come out, real voters have actually come out to vote the more, because we don't actually have a data bank to rely upon to say how many eligible voters do we even have in Nigeria. We say we are 200 million. How many are the youths? How many are the women? We don't have the census. Even the 200 million, are we even up to 200 million? So we're just like, was it not the same census that were done that people were counting legs instead of faces? Don't be surprised. You might even finish this census now. Nigeria are just 120 million. That is the truth. You know? So I want to believe that this is one of the free, fairest and the turnout of this election is so much. I must say that we have seen. Look at Ondo State. What is our pattern of voting in Ondo State? Even governorship election. Has anybody won Ondo State election? More than how many?
Nobody has.
Nobody has scored 400,000 in Ondo State before.
Nobody.
But we said we are 2.1 million. So in an election that even involve every one of us, how many people have voted in Ondo State before? So if Ondo State now is coming with about 600, I want to tell you that maybe we are not even more than 1 million. You know, until we are able to have a sincere census where everybody are counted, and we can now say this is the real data of the people who are voting in Nigeria. So when I say suppression, yes, we can see those suppression on videos, evidence. We have called our people as well. We have done some review at the level of the Presidential Campaign Council, and we have a lot of reports from different areas. You will see some Dimeji, you will see some result, you just bust laugh. There's a particular result that only one person signed for everybody. One Cynthia Okeke.
Cynthia Okeke.
In the East.
In the East. In the East. Cynthia Okeke signed for Labour Party, signed for PDP, signed for APC. Everybody's got zero.
Where were the other party agents?
Who knows where they were?
And this Cynthia Okeke happens to be the presiding officer.
Officer.
Or else he signed the column of
The column of the presiding officer.
And he had the stamp of INEC.
And that is where you have over 300 votes for a Labour Party, and every other person scores zero. Zero. Everybody. You understand what I'm trying to say? So
over the issue of suppression, there might be some constraints. You know, during elections, people travel home to participate in voting process, but the cost of transportation now, coupled with the fact that even getting the money that you already have in the bank, you know, they introduced this dual constraint. They erected deliberate obstacles. The government deliberately erected these two obstacles: no money and fuel. When these two evil combine at a time, it is always very difficult for people to travel. People normally or used to travel to go and cast their votes. From Abuja to my village or my community in Ajowa is now about 11,000 naira to come. Okay. And when you are going back, you pay that kind of money.
You don't even get 5,000 from bank.
And you can't get 5,000 from bank.
Okay, because of our time. Okay, so let's look at the geopolitical spread. Tinubu won in the northwest, north central, and southwest. That's three geopolitical zones. Yep. Atiku won only in the northeast, while Obi won in the southeast and the south. What factors, Chief Alex Ajiwe, what factors would you say determine the vote spread for this candidate?
Well, when I was coming in the car, I heard Honorable Gani Mohammed saying, in fact, he has said it all. It's just because when you look at those spread, you also look at the religious demography of each of those sectors and the catchment of all those candidates. So it plays a major role, you know, in all this election. Then look at the North Central, for example, because nobody from the North Central is directly on the ballots.
Yes.
On this, so they want to.
And nobody who has been president of Nigeria from right from when presidential elections started in Nigeria. Nobody was been president who has never won in the North Central.
Yes, especially Kwara. There's nobody that has won presidential election in Nigeria that has not won Kwara. So one way or the other, when you look at even the spread, then you see that in the North Central, they voted along the party line. They voted party. And that's why you could see people voted for party, you know, in the North Central, and the APC candidate was able to, you know, meet up. Of course, the Southwest is the catchment. And when you look at the Southwest, we were even surprised that APC lost in Osun State. Because it shouldn't be. Not because the governor come from there alone, but because there are a lot of motivations for the people of Osun to vote, to come out en masse and vote. You know? Then where? Lagos, I want to say it's because of the religious. There's nothing else. Igbo, it's not about Igbo. and it's not about popularity of the Labour Party. And you will see what will happen on Saturday when people now, because Sanwo-Olu, for example, is a Christian. His name is Adura Agbemi. Adura Agbemi, son Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So he's a Christian. It's not somebody that you can now come out and say, don't let the son of Dikinikon rule again and all that. So you will see what will happen. So what happened in Lagos, which has attested to the fact that this is a very free and fair election, was because of the religion, but because it is only Lagos you have all these big churches. Yeah. You know, only in Lagos you have all these big churches, and the followership are so massive. Unfortunately, you know, they voted, you know, on the instructions of their religious leaders of this thing and all that. So I believe that from the spread, only North Central has actually reflected, you know, partisanship. And
how about Northwest? Tinubu won in the Northwest.
Yes, but of course, because I don't want to talk too much about the Northwest for some reason. Why?
They won in
because when you look at the Northwest, when you're talking about Muslim, APC and PDP, they share the Northwest. They are there. There's no Christian too much in this Northwest, you know, and that's where you have the major people in the APC. The vice president is where the Malam
okay.
You know,
the president rather.
Lot of big
the president,
you know, the president was there and all that is there and all that. So that's why I don't want to mention Northwest. I've decided to mention the North Central, that everybody, because look at the difference between APC and Labour Party in Benue, for example.
Yeah. Very close.
You understand? Very, very close. And let me tell you, the Christianity does not really work in Benue. The governor openly supported.
Are you sure the governors were candidate of the
No.
The governor was candidate of the APC.
That is what I'm saying.
A reverend.
No, wait.
It's a reverend.
Dimeji, we are saying the same thing. We are saying the same thing. It does not work in the favor of LP there.
Yeah.
Why? Because the APC has a strong Christian.
A symbol of APC in Benue
says a Christian, a reverend father. So that is why you have that. You understand? The governor came out to support Obi. That was the kind of outing you could be able to see Labour Party had in Benue.
Doctor, before you go further, I want to add to that of Osun. What actually influenced the victory of PDP in Osun is simply because the present governor is in court. And you know, in Nigeria, we fear the power of Abuja. That if the presidency should swing to Ashwaju, the Osun PDP will see Ashwaju as the person contesting against Adeleke, not the governor. So they want to do everything so that the power can go back to Atiku. It was not against Ashwaju per se. It was a self-preservation. They wanted to keep the governor on the seat. And that's what the PDP said. I know that must have even gone around. A friend of mine who was a commissioner to the former governor, Oyetola, told me from Elisha, told me that what they are contending with is the seat. When I was asking him what is going to look like, what will the result of Ashwaju look like, he said it was going to be difficult because these people in power in Osun are afraid that once Ashwaju wins the ticket, they are out of the power. So I just wanted to add that to.
Now, in spite of the facts on the table, Chief Ronti Adebisi, why are the PDP and Atiku and Peter Obi, why are they sounding so confident that they won this election?
I don't think they are very confident. They are just.
In fact, some people are confused. Obi is saying he won. Atiku is saying he won.
and they are collaborating. Are they going to?
You have to understand that the two of them are from.
They actually won says silver. The other one bronze.
One bronze.
It's actually
so they won. You know, I mean, it's like you go into the Olympics, you come out with something. You know, participation too is
a victory.
It's a victory for you. So. They are comedians, okay? When you look at, in another few months, Atiku will go back to Dubai. Obi will go back to his
Panama.
Panama and buying and selling. You know, we thank God because Nigeria would have been turned to buy and sell country. You know, so the confidence they are showing is because they think they are rabble rousers. That's what I call
I
it.
agree.
Okay, it is only in Nigeria that
And to impress the investors.
Yeah, the investor. A lot of people invested in them, and if they do not do what they are doing now, the young voters that they have pushed to their corner will just be disappointed with them because of the plan Asiwaju is bringing for the young Nigerians. Because they know Asiwaju is a can-do person, and once he assumed the presidency, you will see what he will do. The youth will stop complaining. Because, I mean, look at the way he addressed the issue of students staying away from school for 10 months and all that. You know, they know he has solution for this problem. So they have to keep galvanizing to create crisis. If somebody is still talking about NSAS at this point, you know that person is not a lover of Nigeria. It's not, you know. So at the end of the day, they will get tired once that black clothes they're wearing get dirty. You know, black too. It takes a while before you know it's dirty. So they will get tired and move back to their, to Dubai and to Panama, where they all come from. You know.
Now, this election threw up many upset. You are sitting governors losing central elections, like the governor of Benue lost to his former aide, in spite of the fact that I supported Obi, he lost central election. I had even the campaign DG of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the governor of Plateau State, also lost it. What do you think? What's the response for this many upset?
Well,
and Buhari losing in Katsina, Tinubu losing in Lagos.
No matter how we try to put or downplay Obi's influence, he has actually achieved something.
What is that?
Which is waking up the sleeping voters, telling them what they want to hear. And I will agree with my brother Ajepe that these figures that we push around Nigeria, it's not the real figure. In my ward, I've seen people that were caught trying to vote 3 times because they have 3 voters cards.
In your ward?
Yeah. In
the Kole local government?
Yes.
It's like that everywhere.
It's like that everywhere.
It's not peculiar.
And what happened was that would tell you the so-called beavers that is supposed to catch all these things, it's not catching it. I'm a software engineer. It's garbage in, garbage out. What they have put into the system
is what it displays.
Exactly.
So automatically, in all these polling units, these people who have 3 cards,
yes,
their information, their data would have been put onto the beavers.
It shows that the biometrics they use is still not working very well. The biometrics is not working very well because you see this finger. It will take about
unique.
It will take about 6 billion fingers to match, to replicate this. So we still have to. We have a lot of software young men here in Nigeria that we can use. We don't need to take all these things outside. Those are the jobs that the young people, people were complaining or asking how Lagos is able to generate so much money. Oracle. Okay? Oracle database, Oracle software. I'm an Oracle certified professional, so I know what I'm talking about. So there are a lot of things that we have not done well that we still need to rejig in the beavers. Beavers is not foolproof the way it is, because if it is working, we will not have 93 million voters. If it is working, I agree with you that maybe our turnout is probably one of the best so far when you look at it. Because
let's talk about the upset. Let's talk about the upset. The upset that I mentioned. What do you think was responsible for this many upset in this election? Come regarding Mohammed.
Yep. I think one. I've been said here. Largely true voters came out.
Okay.
And secondly, it is a good thing that you don't just win elections if you don't work it. You discover that some of these governors, particularly those that return to the Senate, used to sit back in their cocoon and order people around to go and vote for them. But this particular election, people came out, there was an awareness, serious awareness that your vote will be counted, and people came out. Unlike before, where votes were allotted. You know, there is this state we call Kardashian states, the Kano, Katsina, and all of that. It used to be 1.2 million, 2 million votes, all of that. They still have
even Bono and Yobe.
Yeah, even Bono.
They still have Delta State. They used to bring in 1 million. They are. We all know.
Rivers 3 million.
Rivers 3 million. We all know that people will wait and wait. What are they bringing from Sokoto before I bring my own? What is Enugu brought to the table, so that we know what we bring from Borno State? That used to be our election. Like Dr. Ajipe said, largely we have a fair election compared to the millions time. So, and that fair election, those imported crooked figures will have placed most of these governors on the Senate seats by sitting back. It was not easy. It was not convenient for anybody to just sit back and steal votes. Where they stole votes, and I want to tell you, I want to agree that they stole votes in the East. Why? Because they are already people under siege. They fear. You know, the man who held the ticket of Labour Party was chased away from the ticket by IPOBs. He was asking for money, and they want him. And he told the world, he ran away. It tells you that the IPOD and the Labour Party in the East,
Comrade Gani Mohammed, let's not make claims
I'm basing it on facts.
That cannot be substantial.
The guy whose ticket was yanked off complained to the media, and we heard him, we read him. Okay, now do you notice that IPOD did not shoot a gun during the election?
Comrade Gani, because of our time. Chief Alex,
no government did not shoot.
Chief Alex, as soon as Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is sworn in, what do you think should be the number one thing on his agenda?
Well, I think this election has caused a lot of division, especially by religious leaders and all that. And I think that the first thing to do is to make sure that the confidence is restored, to the polity. Because no matter how much you have done, if the people you are doing it for does not believe in whatever you are doing, they will always, read other meaning, and they will not cooperate with you.
That's
and I want to tell, I want to tell you that is what these people really want to do. That they want to bring the legitimacy and question the legitimacy of this election. To me, it's very, very undemocratic and it's very, very unpatriotic, because there is no, you said it's an offset, but for me, I don't really see too much of an offset in this election. Why do I say that very quickly? If you look at Kano, for example, the Kano voted for who they know. They voted for Kwankwaso, followed by the other most popular party there. If you're talking about Katsina, sincerely speaking, as a party man, I would say I didn't know that APC could even perform up to that level in Katsina, because before that election, there are a lot of polarization among the APC. You see serving APC member that defected to the PDP and all that. That is Katsina. Then when you look at Plateau upset in Plateau solely because of religion. It's not because now in the next election, that is when you can now say, is there going to be any upset or not? The Saturday election. I can tell you something for free. Obi cannot win governorship in Anambra. That is the truth. I'm saying
that
that
governorship election is not in Anambra.
I know. No, I'm telling you. So when you look at all these things, once the people have decided to exchange pulpit for a rally grant, then you know that these are what are going to happen.
All right, thank you. Our time is fast spent. Thank you very much, Chief Frontier APC, Comrade Gani Mohammed, and Chief Alex Ajiwe. Thank you very much. My name is Dimeji Daniels, and this is where we end it on today's edition of the Roundtable. Good afternoon.
How are you?